Cool.
Welcome to another episode of In My Bag with Backpack Jeff, where we connect with ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And y'all, I got a very special guest here with me today, man. Met this good brother last week, yo. Dope conversation. Saw the things that he was doing online, man. Had a lot of social proof what he was doing. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Greg Brown. What's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Great, amazing, good, amazing, man. Absolutely. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you having me in here. It's crazy you said what met about a week ago.
About a week ago.
But you know, one thing I've learned, man, is like, you know, you can know somebody for years, but not have that connection. You can meet somebody on a spot and recognize the alignment and know something special is here, you know. And so I think that's what happened with the when we met, and it's pretty cool to see. Yeah,
man, absolutely. So, do you do poetry? Because we met at a poetry event at Pure Poetry. Shout out to my man O for that. So we met there. Are you a poet? You just like going out to it? Or?
Yeah, I'm a creative at heart.
Okay.
I did did some music and stuff like way
back in the day.
Yeah, I found myself in the video production space for a while.
Okay.
And just connected with a lot of creatives. Like to get out, like to have fun. I'm in a pretty technical type of business, and so to get around creatives is always fun for me. So that's a space that's close to my heart that I'll always be around.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
I like it, man. So we met at Pure Poetry, and you say you know Orville?
I met Orville that day.
Oh, for real?
That day.
Oh, okay, dang, man.
Yeah. So I've talked to Orville probably probably an hour, and the first thing he said, it's funny because you were leaving. I connect with you, and I'm big on energy. I was just overeating a couple hours ago. And I'm in a room, and I'm big on energy. I can tell if I'm around somebody who knows who they are, who's confident with I gravitate toward.
Right.
And so I'm talking to and the first thing he's like, you gotta talk to Jeff. And I'm like, I talked to him when he left. So it's just funny how things work. But yeah, we met that night.
Man, that's crazy, man. Yeah, he's O's a good dude, man, good brother. He's super big on energy as well, and I love connecting with people in an artistic fashion, but then also on more of like a business manner, because I think that being here in the DMV, man, I think it's important to kind of continue to grow and facilitate cooperation within the community of what we're doing, because I think it needs to be more, and I don't see enough of it. You know what I'm saying? Like the way that I see it in different places, I don't see it here. So I kind of want to be like one of the pioneers to kind of lead that cooperation and that collaboration of different entrepreneurs, man. Yeah. So tell us, who is Greg Brown? What does Greg Brown do? I kind of got an idea of what it is that you do, but you know what I mean? How would you introduce yourself, man? What is it that you do?
Yeah. It's funny you said, who am I? What do I do? Right. So one thing I'm really big on is who you are is always more important than what you do.
Right.
And leading with that. And it's something that I've learned. For me, I'm a guy, grew up in a military household. My dad was in the Coast Guard it's crazy. My dad was in the Coast Guard for 30 years. Wow. And in DHS for 15. So from 18 to 63, 45-year career. Right. So I grew up in a household, military, mom, human resources. And for me, it was sports. I played basketball my entire life. Mm-hmm. So from 4 to 24, played ball, high school ball, college ball, played D1 ball at St. Francis University in Pennsylvania. And then I graduated from there. The whole time, I'm doing like 2D animations in the background, right? Okay. So like Micromedia Flash, like way back, right? Right. So yeah, so I'm doing that, and then that graduates to, doing some 3D stuff. I did that for fun. Mm-hmm. So for me, like, STEM, creativity, computers, that was always like my lane that I did academically. Right. While playing ball, right? And so I'm playing basketball. I'm studying. I go to school, St. Francis University. I get a degree there. I'm studying IT for the first 3 years, right? Young black male in IT. I'm in DC. Like that's the career path. That's the career path for sure. 100%. My last year, I'm like, is this really me? That's our question. Like, is the IT thing me, or is that something that I'm kind of being,
right? I was conditioned to, yeah.
Oh, 100%. And so my last year, I'm like, let me go into marketing. Let me just try it. I had gone to, when you're an athlete, you're there. I remember walking on the campus at 17 years old. Mm-hmm. So I'm taking all the summer courses. I done caught up. I'm like, I got an extra year and I'm still playing. I'm not going to stop playing early. Right. So let me go marketing. So I got my degree in IT, ended up getting a second degree in marketing while I was there. Okay. and started, just, I was always posting content. My dad, it's funny, I'm looking at it. My dad bought me a camera when I was like, 13 years old. And we were doing, just everything you could think of. Me and my older brother were like recording like rock, Rock Band?
Yeah.
Rock Band?
Yeah.
So we're like playing Rock Band. We got like
playing the drums, guitar, some singing going on.
Yeah, we got the camera set up. I remember we used to do, what is it? So there was a show, I don't know what the show was, but there was a show where they did, dudes were playing video games. They were playing Madden. Mm-hmm. They're playing Madden, like interviewing, like, yeah, man. So like we're fourth quarter. This was like playing video games, like started to become a profession. And so we did all those videos and stuff. But that became like my, the path that I wanted to take professionally, right, was the creative side. I ended up getting a contract to go to Brazil to play ball.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm just through connections and how I played in college. I got a contract to go to Brazil. I lived in Brazil for 2 years, played professionally down there. The whole time, though, I'm like, look at all of this stuff, man, like just people, connections. So I have a camera with me and I'm vlogging.
How long ago was that?
5 years ago.
5 years ago?
Yeah, about 5-6 years ago.
5-6 years ago. You're in Brazil.
I'm in Brazil.
So 2017, 18.
Yeah, at the time, I'm 24 years old. First time, like, living outside of the country, all that stuff, and I'm just figuring it out. I'm down there, I'm learning the language. I got, like I said, I have my camera with me, and I'm vlogging.
Right.
Trying to just capture content and all that good stuff. And so that was very pivotal. Very pivotal.
Tell me, why was that pivotal, though?
If you're born in a place that has so much access and abundance, and the reason I say that is even if you're born in a inner city Baltimore, Northeast DC, Philly, it doesn't matter. If you look at the numbers statistically around the world, the top 10% of the world makes over $43,000 a year.
Okay.
Top 10%.
That's crazy.
In America, you're towing the line of poverty.
Right.
So what that means is that even in some of the worst places in the country that we have, it doesn't compare to what you see down there.
Right.
You're going down there, you're seeing, like, I remember I was living in a city, I'm walking 45 minutes to go eat. You got the dude set up. Because just because you're playing pro ball doesn't mean you have all the funding.
It does not. My brother played in Peru.
Okay.
My brother played in Peru, so I know. Yeah.
Hey, if you know anyone who's played overseas, they've missed at least one paycheck. That's almost a guarantee.
For sure.
Yeah. So, being a dude, raised with, my dad was Coast Guard, so he 30-year career. I didn't really struggle too much growing up.
Right.
We were good. And now I'm down in the they call it El Campo, literally the fields of Brazil. And I'm, I go to take a shower and it's like shocking me. I'm like, I'm gonna just take a cold shower. So I think I went a year and a half taking a cold shower.
What?
Right. The funding for the team wasn't where it was supposed to be.
Okay.
Right. So it was their first year. The team I was playing for was their first year in the top league.
Okay.
So we're playing on these big stages. I get invited to the All-Star game. I'm jumping over Leandro Barbosa, like all that stuff, right? And then I go back home, and I'm like, this is my room. You see what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm living in a crazy room. They're supposed to have a driver for us. They don't have that. So I'm walking 45 minutes every day in the morning to go eat. Then I go to practice. Then I go back. And then I'm back at it again. So probably twice a day I'm walking nearly an hour and a half.
Okay.
And, the water's...
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was... The water is not the safest where I'm at. So there's a season where I grew up... I didn't like watermelon growing up. Mm-hmm. I'm walking, and the only way I can think about, like, getting any type of... like water is there's a guy selling a watermelon on my way from where I live to where I'm eating every day.
Right.
So I'm just like, all right, well, I'm not drinking the water at home.
Right.
We're gonna get the watermelon. So every day on the way
probably
back,
the safest.
Oh, yeah.
If you probably the safest bet for real.
Zero question.
Yeah.
And so I get a watermelon I always have one in the house, in the house that I was there, and I now like watermelon, right? But that was the life that I was living there, just like figuring it out.
Yeah. So okay, so let's go back a little bit because I want to kind of walk through this path in terms of like where you are right now.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of kids who want to play professional basketball.
Yes.
Right. In regards to work ethic, what did it require from you in order to play professional basketball in Brazil? Because I think I try not to to downplay any kid's dream when they say I want to be a professional athlete. Okay, go for it, right? But my first question is that I ask them is, how often do you practice? Well, I practice 5 days a week. I said, that's not going to do it. That's not going to get it done. I practice 5 days a week.
Well, you know,
I'm 6'3". I was 6'3", 205 pounds. I played football. Ran a 4.5 40, 38-inch vertical, 10 and a half foot broad jump. Could bench 275 easy, squatting, repping 315 squats, and didn't even get an eye batted my way.
Yeah.
Not even so much as an eye batted my way.
Right.
You think practicing 5 days a week is going to be enough? It's not going to be enough, man.
Right.
Talk about what type of commitment it took for you to even get the opportunity. And then you said, through relationships, was able to get an opportunity. What was that like?
Yeah, it's crazy you say that because they're both required, right? You can work your tail off, but never be open to build and steward those relationships. It's not going to work. You can have all the relationships in the world, but be lazy. It's not going to work.
Right.
You need both, right? And so for me, I remember, man, and this is when it was a little bit cooler than it is now. I guess global warming is happening. We're seeing it because we still haven't seen a full snow, and we're at December 12th, right?
Right.
So I remember at the time it would start snowing around end of October, early November. I remember going outside and shoveling the snow in front of the pavement just so I could go out there and practice my form or get shots up and things of that nature. That type of mentality for me, it was in everything that I did. I was always, every team that I was on, I was always the first in the gym, last out. I was never the most talented. I don't think I've ever been on a team where I was the most talented person. Never the most talented. I was always the hardest worker, though.
Okay.
And so I would be in the court, when it came to high school, it's like you couldn't keep me out of the gym. It's, you're working out twice a day minimum. Right. And Saturdays you're working out, Sundays you're playing ball. It's a lifestyle. Right. You got to look at the numbers of people. I think it's been a few thousand people that have ever actually stepped foot on an NBA court. Right. That's it. Of millions and millions and millions of people that have picked up a basketball, a few thousand have been on an NBA court. And so what you said about, not wanting to shoot the dreams down, I think what you're saying is right. It's like, hey, there's a goal here. We have to set a goal, but then are we willing to do the commitment required to reach that goal? Right. If not, here's what has to happen. Either I have to lower my goal or increase my commitment. Yes. One of those have to change. Right? Yep. And so it was an everyday thing. It was film. It was watching Kobe, his footwork, just for fun. But it was just what I enjoyed.
Yeah. And that's one of the things too, is that even with my entrepreneur group, right? One of the things that I tell them is when you go to an event, don't go to an event as an attendee only. Go to an event also as a student. Yes. Because when you're looking at another speaker, you don't want to just be there soaking up the information. That's great. I need you to soak up the information, but I also need you to see how they're speaking. What devices are they using? Are they using a PowerPoint? Are they using storytelling? Are they how are they connecting with audience members? Are they speaking in a particular sequence? What stories are they telling? Are they using quotes? Are they using chants? Are they use call and response? You can't just go with watching a basketball game. You can't just watch it as a fan. Yeah. You got to be a student, and you got to be okay. Let me see. So he did his foot. Went that way. Okay. All right. Got it. Right. What's happening with his follow through when he does it? Right. Like those small intangibles are so important when you think about, for the youth watching basketball. Okay. So you're committed. You're basketball, right? You go overseas. You're in Brazil. Yeah. I want to ask you because Eric Thomas, right? Eric Thomas got the story. I'm gonna shorten the story, right? Eric Thomas said he made CJ give up sex for 1 year when he was 21 years old, right? And the reason being was because that they knew that at some point they would be at such a high level that this could potentially be a downfall if you're not disciplined enough to control your sexual desires. Yes. I said, great, love it. They were talking about temptation at this one speaking event, and they were like, where were we at? And they said, Brazil, right? And so, you know, they're like, women are looking for opportunities to come back to the United States. You know what I'm saying? Trying to throw it at you, just trying to get married so that they can get their green card to come back to. How do you,
You don't.
what was I'm trying to ask it right in the most PG form.
No,
like, how did you stay disciplined through that, man?
So I didn't. So
Okay.
so here was the thing, right? That foundation growing up, we didn't have those conversations. You see what I'm saying? And so it's funny because even when you were talking about the discipline of the work ethic of a dude playing ball, it comes with belief first, though, right? Because if I come in here, for example, right, it's the same thing you're talking about. I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, cool, I like this setup. Okay, he's a man just like I am. He can set something up like this. Can I not?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But so the only way that I'll study is if I believe that I can do it. If I don't truly believe I can do it, then I'll be a fan forever. Right? If I go, you see what I'm saying? If I go to movies just as a fan, it's because I don't believe one day I'll have a movie made about me.
Right.
I'm not special enough. That's the conditioning that we've been bought into.
Yeah.
And so as you're saying that, I'm like, it does start at the beginning, right? That's why the household does need both. That's so important. The issues that we see right now of fathers not being in a household, and this is not by choice a lot of times, is because of this, everything that that we're seeing from the system. But it's so important because that kid needs the belief that anything's possible. So now when they come across things that they enjoy, they look at it from a lens of like, okay, I can do that one day.
Yeah.
Right. And so that for me, I believe I did have heavily was the belief like, hey, you can do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like whatever you want to do, we're not going to force you to do. And that's what I'm so grateful for my parents because they never tried to my mom, she tried to influence to a certain degree, right?
Yeah.
But it was never like, hey, you must do this.
Right.
It was like, hey, what you want to do, we're going to get behind that. So that was the blessing. I guess, probably the curse on the other end was we didn't really have those conversations about, you being a young man and how many women are going to, we talked about the 10 and 2, right? But we didn't really talk heavily about that. So when I went down there, at the time I was in a relationship, okay? And so that was one thing. I'm somebody, the way I am is if I'm in a relationship with you, I'm not in a relationship with you just to play games.
Right.
I'm looking at, we going to go there. We going to go there?
Yeah, we're going to go there. No, we going there.
All right, cool. So I was the guy in high school and college that was deathly afraid of getting a woman pregnant because I believe that there's something special a line for me. I don't know what. Like you ever heard the quote? Will Smith said something where he was like, I knew I was an A-list celebrity the whole time. Y'all are just now finding out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you see what I'm saying? So I didn't know what it was. I had no idea, but something told me that I was going to be great at something. Right. Right. And so for me, I was like, I don't want that to get in the way. I was like deathly afraid. Yeah. Like fearful of, if I slip up, this could be a problem. And now my dreams and goals are out the window. Right. Right. And so I was like highly protected. Highly protected, right? Everywhere I went, right?
I love it.
Yeah. So that was me, coming up as a kid. And then, like I said, I got into a relationship and we were dating at the time. So for me, I'm like, hey, if we're in a relationship, we're in a relationship. Like I'm not here playing any games. That went the way it went. You know, not everyone has the same convictions, right? And so once I got to a point where I'm free, I went off. Right? Yeah. And it was, you're 24 years old. I tell people, 24 years old, looking the way that I look, living in Brazil is a problem.
Come on now. It's definitely a problem.
So, but anyways, I say that to say that if I were to go now, I would be able to, but it's only because of the foundation that I now have.
Okay. Right? How did you get that foundation? Where did that foundation come from?
I don't know how far we're going, but for me, it's God, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, for me, I'm down in Brazil at the time. Is shout out to a guy named Jordan Montgomery. Okay. It's a dude that I was playing as American while we're down there, and one of the most just like helpful, like servant type of people that I've ever met in my life. Yeah. And he's always telling me, hey man, there's a church down here. Like, let's go down here. And I'm like, man, I don't do that, man. Right. I'm good. Like, I'm good. And he keeps telling me to go, and I'm using the excuse. I'm like, man, I don't know Portuguese. Like, so what's the point of sitting in the church? I don't know the language. Right. This is a waste of time. excuse, right? And so I started
Good one
going,
though, but nonetheless, it's still an excuse. I got you.
That's not why I know Portuguese.
Ah.
Eu falo português por causa this experience, right? So I go down there and I start going. I'm going, and nothing, nothing too impactful happened. But at least I'm around people. Cool. I end up coming back home and go through this, situation with the young lady I was dating at the time. Mm-hmm. And I remember going into this like deep, like, man. I remember having a conversation with my mom. I'm like, I know this is not supposed to feel this way, but this hurts. Mm-hmm. Like this, yeah. Like I feel like I like somebody died, right? And that was a very pivotal moment in my life because it was a recognition that if you put things in that place in your heart mm-hmm. that don't belong there, once they're not there, you'll realize that was never supposed to be your foundation.
Wow.
Right. And so for me, that void, I started to fill that void with, with media, with video for a while. I was doing that. And then I filled the void with business, right? Because then I got into business at the time. And, right. Ended up meeting a few different mentors. And it wasn't until, and we'll kind of, I know we'll go back, fast forward real quick. So I'm around a mentor at a time, and he's winning at a very high level. Mm-hmm. And so at the time, I'm like, shoot, well, if I want to win, I want to do what he's going to do. What's he doing? I'm coachable, right?
100%.
And so I'm like, this dude's always going to church. So I'm like, shoot, if he's going to church, I'm going to church.
Right.
That's a problem, though. So this was the challenge, right?
Okay.
If he going to church, I'm going to church. All right, cool. I start going to church.
Yep.
Is being in church a bad thing? Not necessarily.
Right.
Until God smack you in the face and say, you just coming here to get blessed. You're not coming here to know me.
Oh.
Right. And so it was, do you see? He said, you just coming here so your business can grow. You're not actually seeking me. You're seeking a building. You're seeking a pastor. That's not me.
Right.
I speak through people. I use, environments. I use buildings. But that person was never supposed to replace me.
Right.
And so I went through a season of my life where, I'm idolizing certain mentors, or I'm idolizing a pastor, or idolizing a church, whatever. And it wasn't until that moment where all of that removed it. It was like, oh, like the Spirit of God and who he truly is.
Right.
And the reverence, they say the fear of God, the reverence of that mm-hmm. and the submission to that is what keeps me grounded now.
Yeah.
And so I don't believe it's possible with outside of that. I don't, because to me,
I'm with you.
Enough to fight that? Nothing.
I'm with you. Like I think it's crazy. It's crazy, man. Because we have like similar paths in that way. Where I was working and this woman, she invited me to church. I hadn't been to church in like 10 years because I was in college. I was in college and we had to go to chapel because I went to a Catholic
Me too.
School.
Was it a graduation, a Catholic graduation?
Yes. Yeah.
So real quick, so my brother went to Arundel, right? And they do a graduation. They got like these what's the thing called? Like the what's it called when you're beach balls? They got like the beach balls and music and fireworks and all that stuff. I go to my graduation, Spalding High School. I'm like, this is the most boring.
The most boring is graduate. Literally, like you're sitting there, like literally, and they're singing hymns and stuff like that. Not the good ones either. They, what I'm saying, we had to go to church. My first experience at Catholic church, it was like sit down, get on your knees, sit down. Uh-huh. It was a little thing underneath the pews in front of us. I was like, what is that for? I was okay. So we just all right, and then what? I'm looking around like what's happening. So I never did it, but so I went to church, right? For the first time, I got into church, and the singer, she starts singing. And dude, tears just start coming down my eyes. And then I see people like reaching to like hand me tissues. And I'm like, what y'all? I'm like, I'm good. Like I'm good. I don't know what's happening. I'm like, I'm not upset or I'm like nothing is happening right now. But I'm like, dude, I cannot. And I got chills all the time. I'm like, what is happening? Yeah. I'm like, all right, I'm good. And I'm like, whoa, that was an experience. And then I go back next week, right? I don't cry during the singers. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm making it. The preacher starts preaching. Here it comes again. I'm like, what is happening? I'm not this soft. Like, what's going on? And then I started to recognize. I talked to my mom and my dad, and it was like that story. And I can't remember what story it is, but it's like my son has learned the error of his ways, and he's returned home. And so I had learned so much through that process. And it was like, finally, I'm home. And now I get to learn from people that I desire to learn from. And so I started to, build and develop different core values that were super important to me. So, okay. All right. So look, so you're in Brazil, right? So you know what I'm saying? Have a good time, doing right? The thing. Doing the thing, doing the thing. So after the 2 years is up, obviously you don't go back. What happens after the 2 years is up?
Yeah. So, and that's a critical decision, right? So I'm there 2 years. Again, the payments, they get crazy. Banco do Brasil hasn't hit yet. I remember asking teammates like, are we playing today? Because we ain't got paid today, right? That type of stuff. And so that conversation of like, hey, I'm getting a little bit older, got to pay the bills, like just keep going. That's a issue. I come back and I remember working out. I think it was for 7 months, expecting a contract back, right? Getting contracts, lowballing. Am I gonna take this? Let me wait it out. That negotiation process. Yeah. Right? Am I going back? I'm not sure. Man, I did that 2 years and they still trying to give me that contract. Okay, Argentina, agents moving, all this different stuff happening. And I remember looking at the mirror one day and asking myself the question, because the work ethic that you talked about that it took to get there,
right?
College ball, you're not playing for money or nothing. You're just playing because you love it. I remember getting to Brazil and I'm playing and the paycheck's tied to it and I don't know how to process that. Now I'm playing for the paycheck. Now,
right.
And so I remember looking in the mirror and I'm like, okay, am I giving this, whatever it is, and I think this is something for anybody in life, am I giving this the effort that Kobe gave basketball?
Right.
Am I giving basketball what Kobe gave basketball? If you're an artist, are you giving art what Kobe gave basketball?
Right.
Are you, if you're a doctor, are you giving the MCATs what Kobe gave basketball?
Right.
The reason why I say Kobe, it could be anyway, but it's an example of greatness.
Yeah.
Am I giving the great effort? And I had to be honest, and I was like, I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not. That's a sign I need to go. And
okay.
That was a sign. If I'm not willing to give that, I'm missing it. And so I ended up coming back home, and in that process, like working out, I started working, exploring the degrees. I had the 2 degrees, right? Yep. So I'm doing IT at the time. Shout out to James Mitchell. He had a company, Reasonable Tech Solutions in Baltimore, and he's since grown that thing, man. It's crazy to see what's happening with them. But I started working with him as like a contractor when things were really low there, just trying to figure it out. And then I'm like, I knew it. This IT thing wasn't for me, so I'm trying to break free of that. And I go into a creative marketing agency, Talking Tree Creative, over in Catonsville. Got connected to that through an alumni.
Okay.
Studied MIS when I was in school.
Which is?
Management Information Systems.
Okay.
Yeah. So studied information systems. We had a game at American University. And the dean of, information systems at the time says, hey, we're taking a group down to visit this company at the same time that you're playing. Well, you're playing the next day. So I go to my coach. I'm like, hey, man, I think it's a good possible career opportunity post basketball and all this stuff. But we had practice the day before. What are your thoughts? And that was one of the truest signs of leadership I've ever seen. Coach Robert Krimmel up at St. Francis University, he said, Greg, you've been a captain since a sophomore. You show up to everything an hour early. If this is something that you feel convicted about, go. Miss practice.
Right.
And so I went and got a chance to tour this facility and all this stuff. That guy ended up being somebody who was a mentor of mine who also helped me get connected to who got me the job at Talking Tree Creative.
Wow.
Right? And so that experience, I go there. And I'm we're doing live production. We're doing they used to do commercials for big companies, big shows and stuff like that. They would have companies come in and shoot live videos for their company updates and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And loved my time there. I will say this, I didn't handle that experience with the level of professionalism that I should have.
Wow.
And I recognize that now, and I'm so grateful for that experience and knowing that. At the time, I was doing my own thing on the side. So I would learn some stuff from there, and then I'm doing my videos on the side.
Yeah.
So here's the transition from ball, right? I'm working out. I'm playing. I'm starting to really dive into this video production thing. And so I remember playing at Pro-Ams. I would play the first game. I would be done. I would get my bag, pull out my camera, shoot the second game. Right? I would work out. I go to a workout with Jamal Haywood, 9450, over in Baltimore, one of the probably the top trainer, if not one of in Baltimore. Just got a contract in China. Works at a lot of the guys here in the DMV. So I would go to him, work out, get the sweat, because I'm expecting to go to Argentina.
Right.
At the same time, I'm trying to build a brand.
Yeah, gotta do both.
Figure it out.
And if I'm here already,
why not? Right?
Yeah.
And so I'm working out with him, and then I get off the court, I'm sweating, and I get the bag. Now I'm recording the second and the third workouts, right? And so I'm doing that for some time while I'm working here, figuring this thing out with the creative marketing agency. And then I got injured. Then I go out to DC one day, and my life is literally changed forever.
So you went out to DC. Who did you meet in DC?
So I met a guy named Alejandro Aguilar.
Okay.
We look nothing alike.
Okay. Doesn't sound like it.
No. So he's Latino. So his family's from Michoacan, Mexico.
Okay.
He's out in California, like Bakersfield, California, just middle of nowhere, right?
Okay.
And I go out to DC one day, and you know how you meet somebody, you feel like you've known them for years. The moment you meet them, right? And I found out this guy's making $250,000 at 28 years old, and over 90% of it's passive. I'm like, hold up,
jeez,
I'm like, wait, whoa. My dad been in the military for 30 years. How you 28 years old? You're only 4 years older than me. I'm telling you, my whole reality done shift upside down because I had never seen that before.
Right.
I've been around. I have people in my family. My uncle does pretty well, VP of a liquor distribution company. Been in the industry for some time. But to meet somebody that was that close at that capacity,
right,
it didn't make sense.
Yep.
And so that was my introduction to the financial services space, man.
Okay.
That was because for me, I think at that time, I was highly frustrated about not getting paid what I felt like I was worth in Brazil. I'm also working in a career because that internal duality of hey, I'm playing in Brazil. I got kids whose dads are bringing them down to the court talking about my son's learning English because he's watching you play basketball.
Wow.
All I did was show up and play.
That's literally it.
That's it. Something shifted in me where I realized if you show up authentically as yourself, you have no idea how many lives may change because of that. Because your story is something that is completely foreign to them. And there's something that you've gone through. There's an experience that you've gone through that may break a generational curse for that individual just from hearing it. Yeah. Right. So I fell in love with that impact, but they stopped paying me on time. So then I came back home, and now I'm like, okay, well, let's find where's the money at then? Right. If they're not going to pay me on time for what I love, let's find the money. And so I'm starting, that's where the whole IT thing, trying to figure, okay, well, IT, the only reason I'm studying IT is because I feel like I can make some money there.
You can make some money in IT. You can certainly make some money in IT.
100%, right? Yeah. And so I'm trying to just navigate my way around. And then I saw this. I'm like, shoot, there's some money to be made, right? Yeah. And so my initial jump into the financial services space was because there's money to be made. Right. Is that why I'm there now? No. Was that the initial? It absolutely was.
Okay, so we're going to talk that because because that was my same experience as well, right? So you get into the how long have you been in the financial services space? Been in there for 5 years. Yep. Okay, got it. So you're in the financial services space. Tell us, what is it that you do in financial services? So give us a breakdown.
So I run an insurance distribution agency. Okay. We're really big on teaching the capacity of how to leverage these products, whether it be real estate investors that are looking to leverage insurance policies tax-free to invest in properties, things of that nature. Business owners. I mean, there's so much. You know how they say you can have two people in the same room and they see something completely different? Yes. So the average American hears insurance, life insurance. They think GoFundMe's, car washes, things like that. When wealthy people hear the word life insurance, they think tax shelter, they think trust fund, they think leverage, right? And so for me, who's talking about that?
Nobody.
Nobody's talking.
Nobody in our community.
Yeah. And you know what I realized? Here's why. If I watch the Super Bowl this year, what are the biggest, most grandiose commercials that I'll see?
Pepsi, Budweiser,
soda, alcohol, liquor, Doritos, fast food.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
If I watch golf, if I watch Wimbledon, if I watch tennis,
yep.
What commercials am I seeing?
Rolex,
Prudential,
yeah.
Wells Fargo.
Yeah.
So you start to realize that these corporations.
Time out.
Come on.
I never paid attention. I'm going to pay attention to. I never realized how they market particular commercials during certain.
Bro, you ever seen a?
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh.
You ever seen a Rolls Royce commercial?
No.
On the TV? Why not? Because why is Rolls Royce going to pay millions of dollars to market their product to people that make $40,000
that can't afford it? Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
They show Rolls Royces at plane shows.
Yeah. You know, so somebody said this, right? How do you get rid of? They were asked the question: how do you get rid of poverty in low income communities and in Black communities, impoverished neighborhoods? They said give all of them life insurance policies and watch the market crash, right? Because so many of the young people are dying and stuff like that. If they had life insurance policies, they would literally be paying out. And now, unfortunately, right, people are getting money, but now they have more opportunities because they also have this different financial gain, with that, man.
Yeah, I mean, you look at P. Diddy's story. He had $10,000 life insurance policy that paid to him. He took that, bought all of his discs, did all that, and then built his empire from that.
Right.
And so, like you said, it's a taboo conversation because typically when we hear life insurance, we think, what you trying to say? I'm about to die.
Right.
Right. That is not to talk about the truth is not I think one of the biggest things that holds communities back is the acceptance of the truth. Mm-hmm. Now, the acceptance of the truth is not an indictment.
Yeah.
Right? So if I just went off one day, I slapped somebody. Right? What happened, I have to be honest with the truth.
Yeah.
That does not mean that that's who I am. Mm-hmm. Because I did what I did, that doesn't mean I have to take that on. Now I am a bad person. Now I've done this. No. I messed up.
Right.
And I have to be held accountable for what I messed up. But I also know that I've been called to rise above that. The reason I bring that up is even when you look at that conversation about life insurance, we have to accept that one day something will happen.
It's inevitable.
It's inevitable. That does not become an indictment that it's going to happen today.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And I see that with the Latino community. I see that with the African community. Is that when you say the word like, oh, I'm speaking. No.
Yeah.
I have to be willing to address the true issues. That's how growth happens. The only way growth happens if I say, you know what, I'm doing things wrong and I accept that. But I'm okay with accepting it because I know how powerful I am to change it. Right. If I'm afraid to say it, that fear keeps me where I'm at. Mm-hmm. And we've seen the issues with like redlining in real estate. Yep. There's a book that I would highly recommend, The Color of Money, to anybody. Mm-hmm. It talks about that didn't just happen in real estate; it also happened in insurance. There was companies that wouldn't. There was this red book that was released that said Black people die faster than white people, and had all these different statistics and stuff like that. And obviously there's some reasons why behind that, right? But the insurance companies, because of that book, stopped insuring the Black community. Right. And so there are years and years and generations of individuals that had no coverage, and their families now don't understand the importance of it. Yeah. That is the truth. We have to be okay with the truth. And the only way we can grow past it is by accepting it first. Yeah. And so I understand that there is a lack of trust when it comes to our community and insurance and financial, institutions and things of that nature. Let's address the truth. Let's say it how it is. Let's speak the truth about it. Let's heal from that and now move forward, right? But healing only comes from addressing the truth. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, and I think once we're able to accept and address the truth, I think it makes it easier for us to move forward. But then it also allows us to move forward without the fear, right? Yes. So sometimes the thing of it is because it's inevitable, because it's going to happen. Now, what's going to happen on the back end in terms of your family, right? At some point, they're still going to have to pay for your burial expenses. At some point, they're still going to have to pay, for different debts and things like
like that. How is the mortgage paid off on the house, right?
Yeah.
Do you have something to be able to pay for those, right? So tell us. I'm 35 years old. I just got married. We have one child together, right? What should I be doing? Who should I be insuring? What type of insurance should I have?
Yeah, if you said what, 35 years old, just got a home, I have kids. If I'm the provider of my family and something happens to me today, the question is, what happens to the house? Mm-hmm. Is my wife in a position to keep that house, to keep those kids in that house?
Right.
If yes, you're in a good spot.
Mm-hmm.
If no, we have some conversations that need to be had, right?
Okay.
The wife, a lot of people think, well, a wife, let's say she's not the provider, so
Mm-hmm.
she's not working, so she don't need as much insurance. Do you know the value of that woman? You're telling me, okay, the man is out doing a thing. The wife could have her own career, or she could be. And by the way, if there is any woman that says, hey, the thing that I'm focused on or what I want to build is the family, that is a whole job in itself. This
Right.
whole idea of like, that's an archaic, perspective of the man working. No. If they both want to work, they both want to work. But if the woman has a vision to say, hey, her focus is being a stay-at-home mom, mm-hmm. that is not a problem at all. Because the value that she brings to the household to say, hey, she's waking these freaking kids up. She's feeding them. She's sending them off. She's cooking. She's doing all this different stuff. That brings value. And if something were to happen to her, mm-hmm. that man either has to step down from what he's doing to take care of them, mm-hmm. or he has to now go hire somebody, a nanny, to cover the kids.
Right.
That requires money.
Yeah.
And so they both need a basic level of coverage to make sure that the house is protected, income protection as well, right? So if I have a 3-year-old kid, how long until that kid is working and able to pay the bills?
Right.
Probably at least 15 years till they're 18 years old.
Yep.
So my income needs to be replaced at least for the next 15 years.
Okay.
Let's do the math there, right?
Right.
And so for someone like that, if I got in Maryland, a $400,000 home, right? I'm making, let's just say I'm making 6 figures. I'm making $100,000 a year, okay? I now have $100,000 that needs replacement for 15 years. That's 1.5 mil. Plus $400,000 home, that's 1.9 mil. If I have anything less than that, I am technically underinsured. And that's just the truth behind it.
Wow.
Right? And so, that becomes like the foundation of it. Is everyone ready for that? Maybe not, because we haven't been having this conversation. Mm-hmm. So now doing a budget, they say what you focus on will grow.
Right.
Well, a lot of times families' portfolio's not growing because they may not be focused on it because we're not having a conversation about it.
Yeah.
Because money may be a traumatic conversation.
When do you start and how do you start introducing those conversations to your kids? Because my goal is that I want to introduce those conversations to my children at a young age, mm-hmm. right? That's for me. But when do you think is a good time, a good idea to start introducing those conversations to the children?
One thing that I've learned is only speak truly with conviction from experience.
Okay.
I don't have kids, so let me put that out there. However, I have an older brother. I have mentors. I have kids, and I see this all the time.
Yep.
I've got a mentor whose kids right now are 8 years old, reading 2-3 books a month. Mm. Okay. Whatever you talk about is the focus of your household.
Yeah.
Right. So I've seen times where, one of the things I saw, which I love, I'm taking that, is if the kid wants, different gifts and things like that, the chore or the currency in that household is reading. Mm. Right. So some people, the chore is, hey, clean this, clean this, clean this. Some people it's like, hey, read this, read this, read this. Mm-hmm. Because it's all conditioning. Yeah. So if I'm teaching my kids, clean this, clean this, clean this.
I'm definitely taking that.
It's conditioning. Right. And so, I think that's a conversation that has to happen very early on. Mm-hmm. Conversations about money. I think we become afraid to having conversations about money because we've been indoctrinated with this idea that money is the root of evil. Yeah. And that's not the truth. If you really look at the word says the love of money is the root of evil, not that money itself, right? Because here's a very big mission of mine that I'm okay with sharing, right? Is that I am sick and tired of people buying into this belief that you have to choose either be a good person or make money. Yeah. That is a lie.
I 100% agree.
It's a lie. Right?
100% agree.
And I'll keep it real. It's a lie that I bought for a few years
Really?
of my life. Yeah, because I thought, okay, cool. I'm gonna either go this route of like pouring into the community, serving people, this educational route, and I'll have to struggle for it. Hey, I may take this route of being a teacher, and I'm doing my thing. Teachers need to get paid more. I believe that 100%.
100%.
Right? Or you take this route of being a big business, person. You're going out there, you're building conglomerates, things of that nature, but you're really not focused on like serving. You're just focused on earning, right? And you realize that that's where scarcity lies. In that perspective, that's the life of scarcity. And when you walk in abundance, you realize, oh no, both are possible. And so I have no fear when I have kids to talk to them about money at a very young age, because I also know at the same time I'm talking to them about how they treat people. I'm talking to them about their heart posture. I'm talking to them about safe spaces.
Heart posture.
Oh, 100%. I heard something that blew my mind.
Heart posture.
Heart posture. What is your heart submitted to? Right? They say a gifted. Oh man. A gifted communicator and a gifted manipulator both have the same gift, just with different heart postures.
Oh,
it's the same gift. It's the same gift. Let me ask you this. If you
that's
have
crazy.
Think about it. If you have a kid and you're a teacher, let's say you're teaching that kid. Do you require a leadership skill set?
Yeah.
Do you require being able to communicate effectively to that kid?
Yeah.
So that means that you have the same skill set that a salesperson has.
Yeah.
If you're a parent, same thing. You need to sell these kids on why they need to be a good citizen in America.
So many of these skills are transferable.
It's leadership.
It's literally that, and that's one of the things that's one of my selling points when I teach when I sell my services to different colleges. Right, I tell them these are transferable skills for personal and professional life. Conflict resolution, emotional awareness, effective communication, problem solving / critical thinking.
Yes.
Regardless of what it is that you do, you are going to need in your relationship as a son, as a brother, you need emotional awareness, you need effective communication, and you need problem solving and critical thinking skills. Because at some point in time, it's going to become a requirement and something that you're going to have to use. Same thing in a professional world. The better you are at problem solving, the better you are at critical thinking, controlling your emotions and effective communication, the better you will be able to either sell someone something, service someone, help someone, solve a problem, or come up with a different type of idea. 100%. You have to have these different transferable skills. If you don't, you're going to find it very difficult to get compensated what it is that you feel you should be compensated.
100%. At the end of the day, we talk about all the time, your network is your net worth, right? Like your skill set. I know people that don't know what they doing at all, but they're doing well because they're communicating. Right. And, look, we talked about it before we kicked off, right? We have people that study so many things. Studying to know everything, every single thing I need to know about IT, every single thing I need to know about, law, every single thing, every law, every this. That's great. You're around something every single day, which is yourself. Yeah. And you're a human being. Let's put a precedent on studying that. Because if I know myself, I can operate anywhere I'm called. If I know who I am, give me what I need. And that'll add on to me. I know who I am, right? Yeah. And so I believe that's so real, bro. Like I don't care what leader you see that you see as effective. We can go all the way back to the Nelson Mandelas of the world, and we can also go to the Hitlers of the world. Yeah. Do they not have? Let's keep it real. Let's really break it down. Does Nelson Mandela and Hitler both have a similar skill set? Absolutely. Leadership, vision. Absolutely. The heart posture is different. And you know what I've realized? That's
so good.
Here's the thing. If I truly say I want to make an impact on the world, then I have to become excellent in these skill sets. Because if not, people that don't want to help people, that want to step on people, are going to get excellent at those skill sets. Absolutely. And they're going to get excellent. Hey, one thing I'm really big on, and look, I don't care your political, what affiliations, whatever. Here's the thing. We're going to make sure that these are all very true statements. Right. Is there a true statement that there are people that love Donald Trump?
For sure.
That's a true statement.
True statement.
Is there a true statement that there are also people that hate Donald Trump?
True statement.
True statement. Here's the thing. If I hate Donald Trump, first of all, there should be no room in your heart for hatred anyway.
Right.
I don't believe in that. I don't believe that, there's a book, I think it's called 13 Things Mentally Strong People Don't Do. And one of the things they don't do is give their power away.
Okay.
Right. Oh, what
okay.
time?
No, you're good. Oh. No, you're good.
Yeah, one of the things they don't do is give their power away.
Okay.
And so my dad told me when I was young, somebody called me the N-word, right? I got really upset. Mm-hmm. And he said, if you allow them to do that to you, you're giving them control over you.
Right.
You're telling me somebody could come in here right now and yell that word, and you get all frustrated. You go, now you going to jail.
Now pup. Oh, yeah. There was there was a guy. I was at a men's mental health conference, and a guy said, something. So he said, "Man, I can say something to you that'll make you want to jump across this table right now, and we got to be able to control that." I said, "No, you can't, bro." He said, "So I can't say nothing to you." I said, "Bro, there's nothing you can say to me." He said, "So if I said something about your mama, you don't know my mama, and it probably would even be true anyway." Yeah. You can say something about my kid. You don't know my wife. I don't. Yeah, bro. It's that's going to show me more of who you are.
It has nothing to do with
it. It has nothing to do. You know what I'm saying? I can't control that. I can't control the fact that you weren't raised right.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I'm saying. Even when you look at these political conversations, it's like if there's somebody that you see that you don't vibe with them, you don't like the way that they were raised or what they believe in.
Right.
But you do see that they have a skill set.
Right. Learn the skill set
and then apply it to your heart posture.
This is why don't just go as an attendee, but be a student, right? Yes. Learning the small innuendos. I got a saying, and it says, you can't paint a big picture without a small paintbrush because you'll miss all of the little details that make it actual artwork. A great painting can't be put together without a small because there's little details that actually make it stick and make it pop. And that's the same thing. It's the little things that you have to do in order to complete the big project, the big idea, right? Yeah. Like those are the things that I encourage people to do, man. When you think about it, when I'm looking at someone, even though I may hate this person, there's something that I can learn from this person. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What can I take? Anytime I tell my students, I tell them to go to conferences, go there looking for at least one thing. One thing. There's something that's going to be said here that will absolutely change your life. It's up to you to find that one thing. And if you can find two, you'd be great. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is, right? But look for it, because your eyes can only see and your ears can only hear what your mind is looking for. Mm-hmm. If you're not looking for that thing, this is going to be a waste of time to you. I tell people that's how I start all my speeches. Listen, I want you to set an expectation that you're going to get something from this presentation. If you don't set that expectation for yourself, it's going to be a waste of time for you. Yep. I'm still going to get paid. And I'm going to go about my way. Yes. And this would have been I don't want this to be a waste of time for you. Right. I want you to enjoy it. I want you to take something from this. I'm going to give you something. Yeah. Something in my story is going to help you change your life. Yeah. I don't know what that is. Yeah. And it's up to you to find that thing. Yeah. And if you find it, I want you to tell me at the end during the Q&A session, tell me what that one thing was that you can apply right now that's going to help you in your journey.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good.
Yeah. So in financial services, right? Yeah. So you have, how many offices do you have currently?
We have 3 right now. So 1 here, 1 in Connecticut, 1 in New York, and we're working on South Carolina.
How the heck did you get New York? Because New York is one of the hardest places to get into in terms of insurance.
Yeah, would I say?
I know things, people.
Oh yeah. Would I say booming? No, it's tough. We got a real estate broker up there that's pretty connected. Okay. And they're respected in the area, but it's I wouldn't wish for New York on nobody. Like you see, I'm here. Yeah.
Okay. So you got a couple. So how? So do you sell insurance, or what do? You sell insurance, you hire other insurance agents, bring them on, teach them how to sell it. What's the process like for what you do exactly?
Yeah. So first and foremost, I believe if you're going to teach something, you need to know how to do it. Right. So I am a licensed insurance agent. Mm-hmm. If somebody needs insurance, I have every capacity to sit down with them. Right? Okay. That is not for me where I wanted to stay. Right. And so in building an agency now, it's about, opening offices and also training. Right. Mm-hmm. We talked about, I don't care what you do, the scale is not going to happen if you're the one showing up for everything, right? And
Yeah.
So we actually have a location over in Calverton where we host workshops and we train and teach and educate, on how to get licensed, how to use it effectively. And then obviously as a broker that does that, you have the capacity there. But
should let me come in and do some speaking and some training, man.
We'll have to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I do a pro bono too.
Yeah.
I need the social proof.
Right.
I just need to come in with the cameras, get the.
Hey man, look, the big thing for me, man, is I'm big on value. We talked about that value adds.
Yep.
Right, and there's a value in every, one of the things we talked about was the idea of let's say if there's someone that I disagree with, or I said, hey, if there's somebody that you hate,
right.
It's like the truth. There's a quote I heard that said, "Truth goes through 3 phases."
Okay.
It goes through ridicule, violent opposition, and then eventually it's known as self-evident. Okay. So what does that mean? If somebody is walking in their truth and walking in just who they are and who they've been called to be, they're going to get made fun of.
Right.
At the beginning, always.
For sure.
Because to walk in who you are means to reject everything that other people put on you.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be made fun of first. That's a given. And then eventually you're going to be violently opposed. People are going to try to stop the truth from coming out because your truth stirs the demons in them.
Yep.
Eventually it gets to a point where it's like, hey, clearly it's the truth. And we've seen that time and time again. We've seen that with some of the top leaders in the world, the Malcolm X's, the Martin Luther King, all these different people, whenever it's the truth. And so that's one thing I'm big on, is that I know that I'm in a place now where I'm walking in my truth.
Okay.
That's the only reason I met you.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look, this is what I recognize. If you speak the truth and it pushes people away from you, those are people that you weren't called to be in their path.
100%, dude.
You know how long I was so frustrated? I'm like, man, I'm around all these people fake. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not being myself. So they're attracted to the fake version of me.
Yeah.
That's why they're around me.
Yeah.
The moment I started to walk in my truth, those people started to fade away. And then I don't even know how it happened now. I don't do it. I just show up places. And if I show up somewhere and I'm walking in my truth, I just so happen to connect with somebody that's walking in theirs. And that's literally why we're here now.
That's literally why we're here now, man. And like you said, it doesn't take long when you're aligned with who you are. It doesn't take long to notice and recognize other people who are aligned, because your eyes can only see and your ears can only hear what your mind is looking for. Yes. We're both on that path of looking for people who are aligned with their vision. Doesn't have to be the same thing. Exactly. We don't have to be in the same field, in the same area, but I can see that you're aligned with purpose. Like I love that. There's a quote and it says, powerful people recognize potential in people, and people of potential know power when they see it. And so there's like that transferable of like, yo, I see power in this person. Like, how can I learn from this person? Let me talk to this person. Let me have a conversation, because and here's one of the things that I do when people I don't carry business cards, right? I don't carry business, and the reason being is because business cards. Yeah. So I don't carry business cards, and the reason being is because a lot of times they get lost in the laundry, something like that. But I love to take other people's information because I know what to do with it if I take your information, right? I'm going to do the research. I'm going to look. I'm going to reach out to you. And so what I try to do is I try to look. And so when I looked, I'm like, okay, what is he doing? What is it about? Okay, all right, okay, all right, I like this, right? What I felt is now validated because of what I see and kind of what you're doing. And I can see somebody that's walking in their purpose, right? Walking in their passion. And so it makes it so much easier for me to desire to have that conversation. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you for walking in that purpose. So doing well in the financial services business, man. Talk to me. What's next, right? Like, what's something like, what's the next? Is it opening other offices? Is it, because we talked about, you mentioned earlier, you know what I mean? Walking in your passion and in your purpose and stuff like that. What does that look like, and what's next?
It's good. I think, man, it's so funny. So something that I'm learning a lot right now, and I'm really big on is sequencing, right? It's funny because you said walk. Yeah, you hear certain things, and so you said walking your purpose and passion, I actually don't think they're the same.
Okay.
Because what I'm passionate about, honestly, is traveling the freaking world, seeing the world. My niece is about to be another, and nephew, being with family, creating, all that different stuff. I was never really, really passionate about like, this is an insurance policy. Okay. Right. You see what I'm saying? Like that. That wasn't necessarily a passion of mine, but I feel a lot of purpose in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of times, one of the challenges is that we go after passion up front, and that drives a lot. But you can go after your passion and feel empty, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you can do that with purpose. I think if you go after purpose, you feel fulfilled, and then that overflows to whatever passions that you have. Right. It's like that whole idea of, they say, multiple streams of income, right?
Yeah. Multiple
streams of income come from a river. The Mississippi River has millions of streams that come from it, right? And so for me, I'm currently walking in my purpose, and exploring my passions along